All right, guys, if you see 21 getting beaten up, that means that it's time to start the GSL. Welcome back, guys. This is the Code A round of 16, day 1. I have Doa with me as Moltrap. That's like a really horrible way to lead into the show, isn't it?
It really is. Again,
21 getting beaten up.
We've reminded you guys of this before, but don't worry. That video gets cut off, but at the end of the video, they race again. And like she crashes into his car and they both blow up.
Yeah.
And he dies, and then you're like, oh my god, she died too. But then she's like walking away with her friends, so she got out of it. So
yeah, the video ends. Well, it doesn't really end happier, but she like gets her revenge, I guess. So that's good. I don't know.
You know what is a good way to lead into the GSL though?
What's that?
Is that awesome intro video? Somehow I missed that the last time I was here. It's like
they just started playing yesterday.
This really cool. Oh, that's why because it wasn't actually there. That's why I missed it before. This like awesome random spacecraft. Jets flashing out everywhere and like beam of energy come up from Earth, and that is how the GSL was created. Everyone thinks it was carried here in a stork and dropped off, but
that's just
it's
wrong.
not the case.
That's right.
Anyway, we're going to take a look at the round of 16 brackets. We are starting the Code A round of 16 today here at the GSL, and we have some exciting matches today. We have the round of 32 is gone. Everyone has at least kept their spot in Code A. So everyone playing today is not going to be playing for elimination, so there's not that kind of stress on the line. But there is the kind of stress that if you win your match today, you're in up and down matches.
Yeah, that
doesn't matter what happens.
Huge.
You could win your match today, and then the next time you could actually just have a seizure and unplug your computer and forfeit your games next week. And you'd still be in the up and down matches.
That's true, yeah, and at least you stay in Code A even if you do lose out today. Here are our matches for today. We've got MVP SC versus Dignitas Select, Slayers Yu-Gi-Oh! Versus Liquid Hero, MVP Monster versus FXO Gumiho, and StarTale Curious versus Dignitas Show. Will the two Dignitas players survive? I think they've actually got a pretty good chance, honestly. I think they played really well last time. I think they're easily matched with their opponents, so got high hopes for those guys. I'm sure all the foreign fans out there do as well. Yeah,
they are going to have a much tougher time of it today, definitely, than they did in their round of 32 matches, so they've got a little bit more proving to do. But if they do win today, I think that they're definitely going to be showing that, hey, they're actually meant to be here, and it wasn't just a fluke. But yeah, we're going to have a lot of good matches today. We do have Liquid Hero is going to be playing as well later on.
I'm excited to see that, actually. That's going to be a really good match, because Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a pretty good Zerg, and Hero is like the great hope for Protoss versus Zerg. But first, we are going to see a little bit of TVT. It is going to be MVP SC. I would say a very good TVTer. Now, he's been out of commission a little bit. He had some medical troubles this last month, so he hasn't been able to practice as much. He did go 2-1 against TSL Revival in the round of 32. And, we'll see how ready he is for today.
Yeah. Now, normally I would give SC the advantage here because I was looking at Select, both these guys' records, and Select, he's very good versus Terran in foreign tournaments, but he's had a lot of trouble versus Korean Terrans lately. I mean, he lost to Rain recently in IM. He lost to Nada in MLG Rally. He lost to Ganji at MLG Anaheim and MVP. So the only Terrans that have been beating him have been these Korean Terrans, but unfortunately SC is of that class. Now, why I say normally I would go with SC, he's actually on a 7-game losing streak against Terrans. So he is not, that's SC, so he is not in the best of shape, losing to Bjorn, actually, of all people in Codas a couple seasons ago.
I actually was talking to Sho a little bit before the match.
Yeah.
And he was saying that he didn't really feel that TVT was Select's best matchup. He feels he's much better in TVP, and we did see him absolutely own Slayers Alicia in the round of 32. But, there are some sort of X factors thrown into this match. Patch 1.4 hit literally an hour ago here in Korea. So these guys are both kind of going to have to deal with that as well. Remember, you don't really... The PTR is normally just for NA players, so unless these guys have NA accounts, which obviously Select does, they haven't really had access to try it out much.
Yeah, and I mean, it just happened just recently, so it's going to be a surprise to everyone. Now, of course, it won't be that big of a deal in Terran versus Terran, but just to really quickly review some of the major high points that will affect things, the Infernal Pre-Igniter damage upgrade was decreased from 10 to 5, which means if you go for a Blue Flame Hellion Rush, it's still going to take 3 shots from your Hellions to kill workers instead of 2. And Marines as well before combat shields. So that is going to significantly change TVT, and a lot of players have been saying that it might shift back over to Marine Tank instead of, you know, Hellion Tank kind of mech. But we're going to find out here in just a moment on Dual Sight who's going to take game 1. Will it be SC or will Select be able to help himself advance to the round of 8? Find out here at the GSL.
All right, over here on the right side of GSL Dual Sight, we have our Yellow Terran from the team MVP. Will he be the most valuable player today? He is.
MVP SC.
SC. He's got a tiny little Marine to help him out. He's got like a good Marine on one shoulder and a bad one on the other shoulder to tell him what builds to do. And on the left side of the map, we have our foreign player from the team, Dignitas. He is.
Dignitas Select.
Does one Marine tell him to go for a 1-Rax expand and the other tells him to do a battlecruiser rush off one base?
Yep. One tells him to cheese, one tells him to play a macro game. It's a StarCraft conscience, man. So, yeah, the patch changes. I mean, both of these guys are on equal footing in that they'll have to be dealing with them equally. The Hellion change is quite big. Neither of these guys really were doing a whole lot of meching either way. So for these two particular players, I don't know if it's going to be too big of an impact, but for a lot of other players, it might be. Looks like Gast first for Select, and a Barracks first for SC, so we've got a little bit of deviation already. Wouldn't be surprised at all to see Select go for Cloak Banshees. A very popular thing in the NA Protoss scene, the NA Terran scene. I've got Protoss on the brain, Moltrap. Everybody's talking about Protoss. I'm thinking about Protoss. I talked a lot of Protoss with Naniwan, Huck, and Sasa yesterday.
Yeah, we had some interesting discussions about that yesterday after their matches. Yeah, so definitely a little bit of deviation. SC right now going gasless Barracks. Probably going to do 1-Rax expand is what I'm expecting here, since he's saving up the money right now. He's not building anything else. And I'd imagine he's going to build it inside of his base just to be a little bit safe.
Yeah, no, this could actually work out pretty well for Select, because it's going to be a long time before those Marines for SC have anything besides just what they come out of the barracks with, meaning no combat shields, no stim, and so he could pick off a good amount of them. Now, there is kind of two different ways. You know, I'm placing a lot of assumption in the fact that Select might be going Banshee. He might actually not be, we'll see. Just getting that fast factory for now, no second gas yet, but basically, there's kind of two different styles of going Banshee. The Korean style seems to focus more on killing the Marines to make your follow-up push that much stronger against your opponent, whereas the Western style, the NA style, the European style, tends to focus on trying to kill gatherers. So it's kind of interesting to see how players work both of those. And there's the command center for SC, so yep, indeed, gasless expand.
Yep. Yeah, it all depends on just what kind of attack you want to go for, if you want to go for a macro advantage or if you want to make some kind of a timing attack. Depends on your style.
Yep.
Yeah, so SC has in fact gotten that extra command center. We do have a factory in the top of the base for Select, and usually when it's kind of off on the side like that, that does indicate that it's going to be for a Banshee build, and he has in fact moved the factory over. Probably going to see a tech lab here momentarily once he gets the timing for it. Making a Hellion first.
If you time it right, you can squeeze out a Hellion before the tech lab, so that could be what he's doing. Otherwise, you know, he could actually just be doing a straight-up Hellion drop, too. I mean, it could come really fast. He did get the fast factory. It's going to take 3 shots to kill SCVs anyway, so players are just going to need to deal with it. But 1 Hellion for scouting, and there's the tech lab. So yeah, it looks like it probably will be Banshees after this little push with these Marines and this 1 Hellion.
Yeah, and he did squeeze out that Hellion, but that means it's going to slow down his Banshee by, you know, about 15, 20 seconds or something like that.
Yeah, the Hellion was a little bit late because he did move that factory before starting it.
And the thing is, Select actually doesn't have any information, really. He hasn't even scouted the inside of SC's base. He's putting a little bit of pressure on with that Hellion, but it's going to be forced to fall back. There is a bunker. And
not the Scatipede!
Select putting down a bunker at the bottom of SC's ramp.
Oh, interesting.
He really wants to make sure he can't actually take that expansion.
Oh, he's going to have to be careful,
he's lining up those Marines for the Hellion. Hellion doing tons of extra damage as a result. Finally goes down. He's going to have to cancel that bunker.
This is actually... Oh, look at that. Canceled.
Yeah, that's new interface design with the patch.
Neat. Canceled.
And what?
What?
Whoa, Select expanding to the gold base down to the bottom right.
That is awesome.
As a follow-up, as first Banshee is on the way, that is awesome. That is awesome because...
It is.
Oh, wow, that SCV got all the way into his base and saw everything.
That is awesome, too. Nice little sneak in there. Players are getting so good at that, finding these little timings to run gathers into their opponent's base, get some extra scouting. He sees absolutely everything.
In any case, I think this Banshee is just going to be able to distract enough that it'll buy time for that gold base to get online, and that'll definitely be an advantage depending on if SC sees it or not.
Yeah, that's definitely the plan. You know, with the little salvaging with the numbers that pop up, we can only hope that in a future patch, if you hit like multiple enemies, something pops up that says combo and has like how many hits and stuff. 2 gathers fight and 1 dies and it says
Multi-kill.
fatality. Monster kill.
That could get out of hand. Like every single Marine, when they rank up, if they get like 5 kills, the little rank pops up, and here's that Banshee doing some harassment. He does not have Cloak. He's only made the single Banshee into an expansion.
Ooh, nice Banshee micro from Select. Oh, except you gotta be careful. That was close.
Picking off Marines here.
Yeah, he's
now,
doing a good job of keeping it alive.
we were talking earlier about the stylistic difference. He may actually just be hitting these Marines because they're the only target he can hit. It's not necessarily that he's wants to hit those. He may be preferring to hit the SCVs, but can't because the Marines are pursuing him.
Well, there's so many Marines, you can't really go after the SCVs in this case.
Exactly.
You have to deal with the Marines.
And oh no! At the front of Select's base, the SCV, the scouting SCV that SC just sent in
oh no.
into his base, saw all those SCVs transferring. He knows what's going on, and SC is sending all of his Marines to the bottom right.
And he's going to have to lift off and make a run for it with that command center right away. Hopefully he can get away from the Marines.
Run your
we'll see.
SCVs. Oh
he's gonna try
no,
to-
the SCVs go all the way in despite the Marine attacking. He's going to lose 4 or 5 of them and may lose that orbital as well. Stunish that
he
micro
will.
for SC. That is definitely going to go down.
That orbital is going to get killed. That is really unfortunate for Select. He has to push now. SC's units are a little bit out of position, but he should be able to get back in time to handle Select.
Yeah, now Select is going to have a stim about 20 seconds earlier, and he does have a medevac, so he could theoretically come out on top if he hits an attack just at that moment. He's got a Hellion as well, which can help with the splash damage.
Yeah, his Banshee is still alive, too. He can repair that. He's going to try to go for it, though. This was not the best decision. Oh, he's going to lose a medevac, too, if he's not careful. Well, barely
Stim
getting
just
away.
completed.
Yeah. A little bit too early of an engagement for Select, and now he is in a pretty tight spot because SC's got an expansion and he just lost his command center.
Yeah, that was rough for Select. Just hit some bad timing there with the SCV transfer, hit some bad timing with Stim almost being complete but not quite.
Yeah. Well, SCV count kind of tells a story there. 40 SCVs, just 20-something for Select. So SC definitely having the lead there as well. And, I mean, Select is not out of it yet. You know, the game's still going. He's still got a chance, but he's going to be way behind now. It's going to be tough. He's going to have to get creative.
Losing that orbital was a big deal, especially, I mean, SC went 1 Rex into command center. He's had that extra orbital for a long time.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
And it shows in the 30 supply lead he's got.
That SCV, man. Those scouting SCVs for SC have been so annoying.
Yeah, very
Done
smart of
such a
him to
good
keep
job with
sending
that.
those out.
Yeah. Yeah, we've been seeing that more and more, and it's really paying off. So, right now, I mean, SC kind of doubling the Marine count, but Select trying to even things out with the gathers. He's pulling closer, but it's going to be pretty difficult to do that. A little bit of a push from SC coming in as well. Now, Select should be able to hold this theoretically if he reacts. The bunkers are not going to finish. What is Select doing? Now reacting here. No medevacs there. No, he does have a couple, but is it going to be enough? Nice concave for Select, and he is actually going to hold that up okay.
Wow, Select just had a better concave there, actually.
Yeah.
And really helped him out. He's going to get a couple medevacs as well. Just 1, although he might be able to corner those others.
Yeah, now Select could definitely use something
yes.
like that. Whoa! Just pulled the other medevacs.
All 3 of the medevacs, nice.
Now he's still behind, but that helps a little bit. You know, any little bit helps at this point. He's not in a position where he can really push against SC. Can still harass with that Banshee like that's what he's doing, only he finally lost it, but might see some drop play here. Select does like his drop play.
And part of the reason why he can't push right now is that Siege Mode just finished for SC, and he's got a couple tanks out. So if Select tried to counter push, all he'd have to do is just siege up, sit there and laugh.
Our first game post-patch as well, and we see the Terran going Marine tank, so could be a sign of things to come possibly.
There you go.
I still feel like Mech has a place, but you're just going to need a lot more Hellions to handle Marines if you go up against someone going Marine tank than you did before.
Now, one of the advantages that Select does have is he's ahead in upgrades. He's working on 2-2 right now, whereas level 1 weapons is just about to finish for SC. So it looks like SC is trying to go for a little bit of a timing on this +1.
Yeah, this could be dangerous for Select.
But Select has the advantage. Oh no, but he can't engage on those tanks though. Oh, he needs to get into his bunkers. He doesn't have as many Marines.
Just too many Marines for SC. I mean, it's going to be really tough for Select to hold this off. I mean, I think this is going to be about it, Mole Trap. I don't know that there's really a whole lot that SC can do about this.
SC is about 50 supply ahead. Starting to pelt away at that bunker. The bunker goes down. The Marines charge in. The SCVs are there to try and buffer some damage, but it's not quite going to be enough. Select is in real trouble here. Well, and without any siege tanks of his own, he's just... I don't know what he can do, man. Yeah, you can't go just Marine medevac against... oh, he's going to pick off one tank. He does. That is nice. SCV's coming in and sacrificing himself as well. Whoa! And Select actually manages to find the exact timing, the exact positioning he needed to clean that up. He did sacrifice a good amount of SCVs to do that, though. Yeah, but as we can see right there, SC just sends out another army of exactly the same size. And oh, there's a drop in his main. That's why Select's stimming up there. I didn't even see that. None of us spotted this drop. It does get pushed back, but not before killing some SCVs. Yeah. I mean, Select did a good job of handling that push, but, you know, he's just so far behind right now. And here comes the next big attack from SC, though. Select may not have enough this time. Well, he does have a lot of medevacs, pulling a lot of SCVs as well, but GG. That is it. MVP SC takes down Dignitas Select in Game 1. And, you know, Select took a bit of a gamble. Didn't quite pay off for him that time. He, you know, did a good job of trying to sort of recover, but wasn't meant to be. Yeah, he definitely got unlucky there in the fact that just, well, A, he didn't have anything. I don't know if that was quite completely luck, but he didn't have anything to stop the SCVs from going in there and scouting exactly what was going on. Saw the Banshee build, and then got really unlucky that his SCVs were transferring out at the exact moment that SC's SCV was coming in to scout his base, saw those SCVs transferring, saw there was no natural, immediately knew gold base, and sent his whole force there. I was talking to Wolf about this yesterday as well in the cast, is that on Dual Sight we saw a lot of players in the past taking gold bases like that just because there wasn't as much scouting going on, but now that players are starting to scout those golds and scout, you know, for signs of golds as well, it's just, I think it's just become way too risky to do a strategy like that on Dual Sight anymore. And, you know, Select, I feel like he almost pulled it off, but yeah, it's just a big risk. Didn't pay off that time. Our second map is Xel'Naga Fortress, which can be kind of an interesting TVT map, especially if it does become a Marine tank battle again. Yeah. I do agree with you. I think that it is a bit risky just because it's done so often that people expect it now. I think Select expected his little like mini contain to go a little bit better and the Banshees to hold him back a little bit longer as well. If that had worked out a little bit better, then it wouldn't have mattered if if SC knew about his gold base. He wouldn't have been able to move out to do anything about it. So there's that as well. And yes, you're right, Xel'Naga Fortress is definitely going to be a different situation altogether. Well, it's kind of a crazy map for TVT. I mean, that middle ground is so open that it's really easy to set up tank lines along there. In fact, TVT is the reason that the Xel'Naga tower in the middle of this map actually self-destructs after 7 minutes, because it just became way too easy for one Terran to set up a big siege tank line on their side of the map right in the middle, covering the tower, and, you know, kind of control the game from there on. So, always an interesting situation. We'll see who ends out on top. Select versus SC here at the GSL Code. Yep, and we're going to get started here in just a minute. Oh, looks like we've got a pause. Yep, we had to pause the game here. That ruined my intro, Moltrap. No! See what happens here. I guess, Select is having a little bit of a sound problem. Get that sorted out. Might have to call upon the magical GOM wizard. All right, looks like we are ready to go after all, so let's go ahead and get into Game 2. We'll see if Select can bring it back into a tie, or if SC can close out the series here at the GSL Code A.